Okay, in assignment 20, we're going to be talking about some very special lines. And the special lines that we talk about when we're graphing or writing equations for linear equations are these vertical lines and horizontal lines. And these guys get really easy the more you practice and once you understand kind of some shortcuts that you have with each of these. So a vertical line is written in the form x equals a, where a represents where it crosses the x-axis at. So this line, this vertical line here, crosses the x-axis at 3. So I'm going to say that again, it crosses the x-axis at 3. So the equation is simply x equals 3. Notice there's no y number in here. There's no variable y in this. If one of your variables is not present in the problem, then you're talking about either a vertical line or a horizontal line. Okay, let's look at the horizontal line. This horizontal line here crosses the y-axis. See, it doesn't cross the x-axis. It crosses over the y-axis right here at -1. So that's the equation. If it crosses it crosses over or it crosses through the x-axis at 3. This one crosses through the y-axis at -1. So that's the trick. So for number 1, this one here, what axis does it cross through? Well, it crosses over the x-axis. Here's the x-axis right here. It crosses over the x-axis at -2. This one crosses over the y-axis at 3. This one crosses over the y-axis at 1, 2, 3, 4, -5. This one crosses over the x-axis at 1, 2, 3, 4. It crosses over the x-axis at 4. This is a tricky one. This line, it is the y-axis. But which axis does it cross over? It crosses over the x-axis right here at the origin, which is 0. Okay, so writing the equations. So what if you were given the equation and asked to graph? Okay, y equals 5. It's going to cross over the y-axis at 5. Now a lot of students are going to draw a vertical line, but a vertical line would not cross through the y-axis. It would cross over the x-axis. I need a horizontal line here to cross over the y-axis, and it's going to cross through at 5. This one crosses over the x-axis, so it's going to be vertical at -1. There's -1. X equals 3 crosses over the x-axis at 3. So there's 3. Don't draw it horizontal. It's going to be vertical. Now if you notice, every one of these problems, they're missing one of the variables. If one of your variables is missing, then you're talking about one of these special occasions where it's either a horizontal line or a vertical line. What is the slope of y equals 4? Well, y equals 4. Let's see what that would look like. It would cross over the y-axis at 4, which means it's horizontal. This question is, what's the slope of any horizontal line? 0. What is the slope of the line x equals -2? Well, that graph looks like this. It crosses over the x-axis at -2, which means it's vertical. What's the slope of a vertical line? Undefined. If it's a vertical line, this is a vertical line. The slope is undefined. Which axis is y equals -1 parallel to? y equals -1, crosses through the y-axis at -1, so it's parallel to the y-axis. Remember, parallel means going the same way and never crossing. All right, last one, 18. How does the graph of y equals 3 differ from y equals 3x? This one is missing a variable. There is no x in this equation at all, which means it's going to be one of these special lines, either horizontal or vertical. So this one's going to cross over the y-axis at 3. 1, 2, 3. This equation is not missing any variables. There's the y and there's an x. But what is missing? If you think of y equals mx plus b, what's missing? The b number. Which means that the b number in this problem would be 0. So my slope is 3 and my b number is 0. Which means I'm going to begin at 0, and then my slope, which needs to be a fraction, 3 over +1, 1, 2, 3, and over 1, down 3 and back 1. So you can see that this line is not one of those special ones that's either horizontal or vertical. It is actually a slanted line. There's very minor difference in the equations, but the graphs look way different. Y equals 3, there is no x, so it's horizontal. Y equals 3x just means that we're going to begin at 0 and 3 is our slope. Okay, that's it for assignment 20.